Okay, this is an LSD story. So I used to do that quite often. Very big amounts of it. So I remember one day I decided to take 6 hits of Schoolbus acid. They might have even been double dipped or whatever. So God knows how many hits I actually took, but I took 6 squares. 3 one time, and like when I sucked that to mush, and I took 3 more. And I'm hanging out with my buddies, driving around, having fun. And if anyone's ever done that, when you're around your friends, you can maintain. But what comes up must come down. What starts must end. And I ended up, I think, dropping them off, or they left. So here I am, driving in my car, tweaking like hardcore. And it's bad news bears when you're by yourself in a car driving around. I recall all of a sudden I was driving through a forest. I'm like, holy shit, where am I? I don't even know. But in reality, I was driving on a road, but I didn't see cars. I didn't see the road. I was driving through a forest, or even a jungle, but regardless, it was trees I was knocking down. And I'm like, oh no, this is bad. I'm gonna fuck my car up. So I quickly park, or just stop even, get out of my car, look around. I'm like, where are the trees? They done disappeared. I was not driving in no forest. I parked in a perfect parking spot. And this happened all around the Lake Lansing L&L, back when it was L&L. So I'm like, oh, that's a big relief. I can kind of relax. So I'm sitting in the car, trying to relax. And on both sides, well, the left side, I see a flashlight flashing in. And then I look in the rearview mirror, or the passenger side mirror, and I see like a light shining in. And I'm like, fuck, they're cops. But I didn't hear no tapping on the window. I didn't hear no voices. So I was like, they're seeing like, oh, what I'm up to. So I get out of the car, I gotta explain myself, but they done disappeared as well. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want this to end. And if you ever tripped hella hardcore, there's always a time when you're like, this is gonna last forever. I'm scared. I done lost my marbles. So I was like, oh, this is getting like, this is making me like a lunatic. So I get in the car again, in the parking spot that I parked perfectly in, and I smoke a bowl. I was like, oh, maybe if I smoke some grass, I'll calm down. No, that didn't help at all either. And I remember, like, I was thinking, like, I can't stay here for much longer, because that's just shady. I was, like, the only car in the parking lot, I think. And this was, like, where the L&L on Lake Lansing is, because my friend Kyle lived over there. This was, like, there's L&L, and there's, like, these businesses, like a plaza on the other side, where attorney offices or doctors, whatever. And I look at the L&L sign, like the structure, the building, I'm like, and this is before cell phones, I think. So I was like, I'm gonna have to go in there, but maybe I can catch someone coming out or going in that would maybe drive me home. So there's these, you know, the people that like, ooh, they can't walk into the store, they gotta get dropped off in front of it or picked up, whatever. I'm going up to these cars that just dropped off people. I'm like, and they roll down the window. I'm like, can you call, I probably looked like that. Oh, can you call the authorities? And they probably thought I was, I don't know what they thought, but I was like, can you please tell the authorities that Michael Loathing is here? And I need to go. And I don't know if they said yes, no, maybe, or what. But I did that to like 3 or 4 people. And I think one even had kids, like with them walking in. And I'm like, I probably maybe even scared the kid, scarred them for life. But I did that a few times, and then I was getting more and more paranoid because I'm out in front of L&L, like, probably looking crazy pacing. So I'm like, uh-oh, I'm gonna have to go in. So I go inside. This is bad. And I use the payphone. I'm not sure, because I couldn't remember my phone number, or like the house phone. And whatever I did dial, or whoever I did dial, I couldn't hear if they picked up and said anything. And then, you know how it's like nickel plated, or like payphones, kind of, you can see your reflection, like a mirror almost. And behind me, these like L&L workers were like, and immediately I had the phone, I put my hands up, I was like, I ain't got nothing, I ain't got nothing. And I don't know if they were like, what? They probably weren't even there. So, no luck with the phone. I don't know, no luck with the phone, otherwise, yeah, never mind. So I go up to the service desk, again asking for the authorities to come get me. I was like, I partied way too much. I took too much acid. I need to go. And they're like, well, sir, we can call you a cab. And I was like, oh, bet, okay. So they call a cab. The cab gets there. And this time I'm kind of like, I'm used to the freakness of everything. So I'm kind of maintaining. We're running on some kind of basic survival mode. So he's like, okay, like, where are we going? He wasn't Arabic, I don't think, or foreign, but that's how I think of taxi drivers. Like, whoa, where are you going, guy? And I was like, oh, I'm going home. And I was like, he was like, where do you want me to go? And I was like, uh-oh, again. I could not remember where I lived. And I lived probably 10 minutes, 15 tops away from that L&L. I lived on Park Lake at Oak Island, if anyone knows where that is. Park Lake Road and Lake Lansing Road, that's not too far. So we get, I forgot what road it was, but I had to like, I couldn't tell them exactly where. I had to be like, go left. Anyways, we get to my house, and I think the charge was, it was like under $15. I must have gave that dude $60 because I gave him all the cash I had in my pocket. Because I couldn't read the bills. I don't know. So I walk in the house. My mom's watching television. I go up to the kitchen table, and I'm like, whew, throw everything off. And I get on it and I lay down. And I'm like looking at my mom because I was like, wow, upside down, like you might fall. Because in my mind, when I'm upside down, she looked like, you get it. And she's like, how'd you get home? Like, where's your car? And I was like, dun, dun, dun. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, I don't know. She's like, you don't know? What? What do you mean you don't know? I was like, Mom, I took way too much acid. I've always been one to take a lot, but I was never... This must have been double dipped or something. So she's like, what? And my mom doesn't like drug use. She don't mind the weed, but acid, no, that's bad. So she's like, where's your car? And I was like, sorry, I don't know. So I started replaying the events that evening in my head, and I recall the freak show of L&L. I remember that part now. And I was like, oh, cool, it's at L&L. She's like, okay, well, let's go check on it. And she's like, well, which L&L? And I was like, dun, dun, dun. I don't know. So she's getting annoyed. I'm getting mad because I can't remember. So we ended up driving to every single L&L. I think there was 3 or 4. So the last one, that was the one. But remember, I didn't park in L&L. I parked a street right across from it. And I'm like, well, I done lost my car. I thought it was out at L&L. I was thinking of all these other stores that I might have confused it with L&L. But as we were leaving L&L, we drive like right by it. My car is in that parking spot. And I'm like, yes! So I make sure it's locked. So we go back home because we'd have to have someone. She wasn't about to let me follow her home. So we were talking, blah, blah, blah. We get home. And then this cat I used to hang out with, TC, just happened to pop in. I'm like, TC, thank God. So we ended up driving him to my car, and he drove it. And then, he drove it, following us back so I could have my car safely in my driveway. But, oh my gosh, I got so many stories like that. Then, I think we ended up going down to East Lansing at Pinball Pete's because that was like the place to go on acid. But acid story number 1. Trip, 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 trip.